This morning we are going to read Yeats' poetic play, Purgatory. Last Monday we dealt with Murakami Haruki's Kafka on the Shore. Haruki's novel is a story of a young boy, and the novel is a treatment of human condition, defined as Oedipus complex, which was suggested by Sigmund Freud. The young boy has wanted to shun the prediction his father made. He wants to stay away from his own mother and sister, but he eventually meets both mother and sister, and I think it's a quite interesting story. In the meantime, Yeats' play is a one-act play. It has a similar plot and motif: killing his own father, killing his own son, and father wants to stop his bad blood from flowing in his offspring. The play is rather short, and we are going to read the play after the. We are going to finish reading the essay about both works, right? Purgatory and Kafka on the Shore. I'm going to finish reading the first part of the essay. Okay. Oh, actually, Yeats was he's known as a poet, but actually he received this Nobel Prize for his achievements in poetic plays, and he cooperated with Lady Gregory to start a new theater movement, which the center of the movement is Abbey Theatre, which is located in Dublin, and we are going to have a look at the Abbey Theatre. Okay. Actually, I went inside the Abbey Theatre. It is kind of small theater, right? It's as big as the Drama Center on Namsan. Have you been there? Drama Center, right? Abbey Theatre, known as the National Theatre of Ireland, in Dublin, Republic of Ireland, first opened its doors to the public on 27th December 1904. Despite losing its original building to a fire in 1951, it's remained active to the present day. Okay, this is the Abbey Theatre. Origins. The Abbey rose from, okay. The second base involved, okay. Foundation, okay. Encouraged by St. Teresa Hall's success, Yeats, Lady Gregory, A.E. Martin, and John Milton Synge founded the Irish National Theatre Society in 1903 with funding from Holman. They were joined by actors and playwrights from Faye's Company. At first they staged performance in the Molesworth Hall. Okay, and okay, let's see. John Milton Synge, John M. Synge. At the beginning of the semester, we read a close work, Aran Islands, right? Okay. A poster for the opening run at the Abbey Theatre. You see Barley Strand, Catherine de Julian. These two works were by Yeats. And this one, In the Shadow of the Glen, by John M. Singh. She's Lady Gregory. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the essay. Section 1, Yeats' Purgatory and Murakami's Kafka on the Shore. In this paper, I deal with the aspects of the supernatural in Yeats and Murakami. What is unusual in our life is deeply ingrained in Yeats' poetry and Murakami's novel. Reading Yeats, we feel entranced, empathizing and identifying with the otherworldly, ghostly beings whose unfolding stories dazzle our eyes. We see Yeats in many of his stories. Treat the supernatural phenomena at face value. He never seems to think little of what is heard from numerous people, turning them into fine stories in fine styles, sometimes poems, sometimes plays, mostly stories collected into his mythologies, which covers the whole periodic segments of his life, early and late. Meanwhile, Murakami depicts and describes his characters in his novels and short stories in an unusually, so realistic way. When he does this, he is a novelist of spiritualism. I think Yeats was the most religious of all the poets in the last century, compared with other highly religious poets, though Yeats never was a traditional believer. Yeats embraced all religions, East and West. However, it is not inappropriate that Yeats was laid in the Drumcliff churchyard under the bare Bamboulbon's head. Bamboulbon is the big mountain that's shaped like a table, so the Irish people call it Table Mountain. Table Mount, right? His book, A Vision, though it is a little about Christianity, is highly religious and can be regarded as its crown achievement, resulting from his long contemplation on religion and on the system of the world and the civilization. In this work, Yeats is most ambitious of all in the last century to make one theory that fits the whole world and its history from the beginning to the end of the world and vice versa. For Yeats, there is hardly any clear division between the superstitious and the religious, for it may seem to him that they are essentially the same road. The miracles in religion to him are not different from the village ghosts that appear and disappear in the mind's eye of the country folk in Sligo. On the other hand, Murakami has hardly written about religion, but he is less religious. In his novel Kafka on the Shore and in some of his short stories, I will attempt to compare Yeats' Supernatural with Murakami's. Kafka, in addition to his short stories, throws some light on the nature of his conception of the supernatural. On the basis of his work, I conclude that his attitude to the supernatural is not very different from Yeats'. Murakami is an avid reader of Western literature. He has translated 19 English-speaking authors, including Fitzgerald, into Japanese. He seems to be interested mainly in modern novelists, and he also seems to be familiar with Yeats' poetry and maybe Yeats' stories of the supernatural, which I will uncover in his novel Kafka. I have read much of Yeats as poet, playwright, and essayist for a long time, whereas I have just come to read Murakami prose, 2 novels, 1 short story collection, and a memoir of himself. Murakami is an unusual talent with a Japanese background, polished and well-versed in Western poetics. Because of his dual characteristic, his work feels strange and unique both to East and West. Furthermore, his prose is delicately chiseled in form. Not only that, but he is sincere and frank in his work. The first time I read his novel, Kafka on the Shore, I came to like him so much. Then I read his memoir when I talk about running, and learned something about him as a man and writer. Then I read his novel, Norwegian Wood. Also, I've read the short story collection, Blind Willow, Sleeping Woman. I read them all in English translation, done either by Philip Gabriel and J. Rubin. He is fortunate enough to have had such an excellent translators. I will have to find some common ground shared by both writers. First, both seem to view the supernatural as natural. And in their works, they treat the spiritual and the ghostly self as if they were part of our life. Second, in the work, one's spirit could move out of one's body and move around alone. Third, it could travel back and forth between this world and the other world. Let us read the Purgatory itself. Okay, you got the handout. Purgatory is a one-act play. There are only two persons in the play, boy and old man. Right? Okay, scene, a ruined house and bare tree in the background. This is one-act play. Boy, half door, hither and thither, day and night. Hill and hollow, shouldering this pack, hearing your talk. So the beginning is what? It's like a lullaby. It's like a song, right? And quite poetic. He's complaining, right? He's carrying a big pack on his shoulder, full of money, right? An old man. Study that house. Study that house. I think about his jokes. and stories. I try to remember what the butler said to a drunken gamekeeper in mid-October, but I cannot. If I cannot, none living can. Where are the jokes and stories of a house? A threshold gone to patch a pigsty. So the house is gone, right? So it's threshold gone to patch a pigsty, to build a shed, right? Pigsty. So in here, there are, you can see the elements, repetition, A and B, right? Day and night, right? And jokes and stories, and but I cannot, but if I cannot, okay, boy. So you have come this path before. Old man. The old man. The moonlight falls upon the path, the shadow of a cloud upon the house, and that's symbolical. Study the tree, what is it like? The old man, actually his son, thinks that his father is crazy, right? He's going crazy, right? So, a silly old man. It's like, no matter what it's like, I saw it a year ago, street bare as now, so I chose a better trade. I saw it 50 years ago, before the thunderbolt had riven it. So actually the old man, what? He lived here, right? 50 years ago he came. He was here, right? He had, at the time the tree was what? It's different, right? It's different, full of life. I saw it 50 years ago before the thunderbolt had riven it. Riven, riven. Okay, tear it apart, right? So before the thunderbolt had riven it, green leaves, the ripe leaves that thick as butter, fat, pretty life. Stand there, and look. And there is somebody in that house. So the old man is seeing somebody in there, in the house, right? In the meantime, the boy's reaction is, the boy puts down pack and stands in the doorway. There's nobody there. The boy can't see, but the father can see, but boy, his son can't see. Old man, there's somebody there. The boy, the floor is gone, the window's gone, Where there should be roof, there is sky, and there's a bit of an eggshell thrown out of jackdaw's nest. Jackdaw is a bird it's a kind of magpie, right? So where there should be roof, there is sky, right? So old man. But there are some that do not care what's gone, what's left. The soul in purgatory that come back to habitations and familiar spot. So this is the idea of what? The old man. And also, this is the idea held by the author, Yeats, right? So the souls in purgatory, so that come back to habitations and familiar spot. Boy, your wits are out again. You're crazy, right? Old man. The old man does not pay any attention to what his son is saying. Old man, relieve their transgressions, and that not once but many times. What does it mean? Life repeats itself. You don't die. You die, but you will be born again, right? And transgression. Transgression means what? Transgress means go beyond something prohibited, right? Transgression. So relieve their transgressions, right? And not once, but many times. You are born many times here, right? You know, at last, the consequence of those transgressions, whether upon others or upon themselves, upon others, others may bring help, for when the consequence is at an end, the dream must end. If upon themselves, there is no help but in themselves and in the mercy of God. Boy, I have had enough. Talk to the jackdaws, if talk you must. So the boy doesn't like hearing it, so talk to the birds, right? I'm not interested in it, right? Old man, stop, sit there on the stone. That is the house where I was born. Boy, the big old house that was burnt down. Old man, my mother, that was your granddam, owned it. The scenery and this countryside, the kennel, stable, horse, hound. She had horse at the carafe. There she met my father, a groom in a training stable, looked at him and married him. Her mother never spoke to her again, and she did right. So old man thinks that his mother chose a wrong husband, right? Boy, what's right and wrong? My granddad got the boy and the money. Old man, look at him and married him, and he squandered everything he had. He never knew the worst because she died in giving birth to me. But now she knows all, being dead. This is interesting, right? My mother knows everything now because she's dead. What does it mean? Soul lives, right? You do not die. Soul lives. So the soul knows the fact, right? Truth. But now she knows the all, being dead. Great people lived and died in this house. Magistrates, colonels, members, parliaments, captains, governors. And long ago, this had been a great house. Men that had fought at the Offram and the Boyne, some that had gone on government work to London or India, came home to die, or came from London every spring to look at the many blossoming park. They loved the tree that he cut down to pay what it lost at cars or spent on horses, drink and women. Had loved the house, had loved all the intricate passage of the house, but he killed the house. To kill a house where a great man grew up, married, died, I here declare capital offense. So the house used to be great, and he committed crime by killing this house. So he is blaming his own father. And if you read Yeats' autobiography, it's called Autobiographies, or the Autobiography of William Butler Yeats. In the early part, he mentions all the great men, great ancestors like this, right? And one of them went to India, or one of Yeats' ancestors went to Malaysia, and became the governor, or things like that. So, boy, my God! But you had luck, grand clothes, and maybe a grand horse to ride. Old man, that he might keep me upon his level. He never sent me to school, but some half loved me for my half of her. My gamekeeper's wife taught me to read. A Catholic curate taught me Latin. They were all books, and books made fine by 18th century French binding. Books modern and ancient, books by the ton. Boy, what education have you given me? Now he's complaining. You got the education, right? You didn't go to school, but you got the education. But what education did you give me, right? The boy's complaining. What education have you given me? The old man, I gave the education that befits a bastard that a peddler got upon a tinker's daughter in a ditch. When I had come to 16 years old, my father burned down the house when drunk. What does it mean? The first two lines. I gave the education that befits the bastard that the peddler got upon a tinker's daughter in the ditch. What does it mean? You do not deserve education, right? Right? My son, so he's going to kill him, right? So, boy, but that is my age, 16 years old at the Park Fair, old man, and everything was burnt. Books, library, all were burnt. Is what I have heard from upon the road the truth, that you killed him in the burning house? You mean you, father, you killed your father, right, in the burning house? Old man, there's nobody here but our two selves. Nobody, father. And he is confessing, right? I struck him with a knife, the knife that cuts my dinner now. So he has a knife using when he eats meals. He uses this knife, and he killed his own father with this knife. Right? It's confession, right? I struck him with a knife, that knife that cuts my dinner now, and after that I left him in the fire. They dragged him out. Somebody saw the knife wound, but could not be certain because the body was all black and charred. Then some that were his drunken friends swore they would put me upon trial. Spoke of pearls, the threat I had made. The gamekeeper gave me some old clothes, and I ran away. I walked here and there till I became a peddler on the roads. No good trade, but good enough because I'm my father's son. Because of what I did or may do, listen to the hoofbeats, listen, listen. Now, the last stanza here, what does it mean? He is talking about his own past and past crimes, and then he hears something. I cannot hear a sound. The boy is complaining, I can't hear, but the father, his own father can hear something. A horse is coming, right? So, I cannot hear sound. Beat, beat. This night is the anniversary of my mother's wedding night. This is the anniversary of my mother's wedding night, or of the night wherein I was begotten. My father was riding from the public house, a whiskey bottle under his arm. A window is lit, showing a young girl, and actually on the stage the window is lit, and a woman is showing, a girl, young girl. Look at the window. She stands there listening. The servants are all in bed. She's alone. He has stayed late, bragging and drinking in the public house. His own father, right? Boy, there's nothing but an empty gap in the wall.
You have made it up. You are lying, right? No, you are mad. You are getting madder every day. Old man. It's louder now because the he rides upon a graveled avenue. All grass today. The hoofbeat stopped. He's gone to the other side of the house, gone to the stable, put the horses up. She's gone down to open the door. This night she is no better than her man. Does not mind that he is half drunk. She is mad about him. They mount the stairs. She brings him into her own chamber. And that is the marriage chamber now. The window is dimly lit again. In here, she is mad about him. What does it mean? She likes him very much now, right? Don't let him touch you. It is not true that a drunken man cannot forget. And if he touch, he must forget. He's worried, right? He's going to be born, right? Right. And you must hear his murderer, deaf, both deaf. If I should throw a stick or stone, they would not hear. And that's the proof my wits are out. But there's a problem. She must have lived through everything in exact detail, driven to it by remorse. And yet, can she renew the sexual act and find no pleasure in it? And if not, if pleasure and remorse must both be there, which is the greater? I lack schooling. Go fetch a Tertullian. He and I will revel all that problem out, while those two lie upon the mattress, forgetting me. Come back, come back. And so you thought to slip away my bag of money between your fingers, and that I could not talk and see. You've been rummaging in the pack. The lights in the window has faded out. Boy, you never gave me my right share, right? You've been rummaging in the package. The boy is trying to take some money from the bag, right? You never gave me my right share, old man. Had I given it, young as you are, you would have spent it upon drink. The reason is what? Why he did not give money to his own son? He will spend it on money and women and things like that. So what if I did? I had the right to get it and spend as I chose. Old man, give me that bag and no more words. I will not. I will break your fingers. They struggle for the bag. In the bag it drops, scattering the money. The old man staggers but does not fall. They stand looking at each other. The window is lit up again. A man is seen pouring whiskey into a glass. So actually, in the play there are two people, but there are another young woman, and there's another man near the window, right? So, boy, what if I killed you? You killed my granddad because you were young and he was old. Now I'm young and you are old. So what? So the boys what? They challenge him, right? Old man staring at window. Better looking, though 16 years. Boy, what are you muttering? Younger, yet you should have known he was not a kind. What are you saying? Out with it. Old man punched the window. My God, the window is lit up again. Somebody stands there. All the floorboards are all burnt away. Finally, the boy's saying something, right? So, old man, the window is lit up because my father has come to find a glass for his whiskey. He leans there like some tired beast. Boy, a dead, living, murdered man. Old man. Then, the bride's sleep fell upon Adam. Where did I read those words? And yet there's nothing leaning in the window. But the impression upon my mother's mind, being dead, she's alone in a remorse. Boy, a body that was a bundle of old bones before I was born, horrible, horrible. He covers his eyes. Old man, that beast there would know nothing, being nothing. If I should kill a man on the window, he would not even turn his head. My father and my son on the same jackknife, that finishes there. He stabs again and again. The window grows dark. So he is killing his own son here. So the play is not over, but I'll stop here because the boy is dead now, right? Okay. Okay, I will take 10 minutes break. Thank you.